BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. Welcome to Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals, part of the Bleav Network, joined by former tight end and Super Bowl 33 participant Ed Smith. My name is Javon Adams. Be sure to subscribe, comment, rate, and follow this podcast and tell all of your Arizona Cardinals fans and friends to do the same. You can also watch us on Bleav TV around the country, in airports, and on YouTube, and read the top Bleav stories at si.com and follow us across all our Bleav socials. Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals. What is good, my brother Ed Smith?
Hey, what's going on, Jay? Winning streak comes to an end, and very disappointing performance by the Cardinals. I'm not sure how much of it you got to see, but it was, man, they reverted back to some of their old ways, which is why it's hard to buy into this team as far as, and they're a little early. Like I said, I do like the progress, but consistency, nah. It was a very bad performance after, several weeks of seeming like they were on the right track. And the schedule gets, just tougher, Minnesota this coming week. So the tides could turn quickly, and we know how restless the fans can be out here. So, just a bad performance yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to get into breaking that down. Looking back, we do this thing twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. We got Thanksgiving coming up, on Thursday, so we'll probably do Friday. We'll do it right that way. But Mondays, we look back on the game that was. Thursdays, we look ahead to the game that's upcoming. And so, of course, that means on later in the week, we'll be breaking down that matchup with the Minnesota Vikings. But first, let's get to it. One of the things that we talked about first, the final score, 16-6. The Arizona Cardinals go to the Pacific Northwest, and they fall to the Seattle Seahawks. And again, 16-6. And we went over some things last week when we were breaking down, kind of previewing this matchup, and how the defense was doing its thing and how the numbers, it seemed like they were gelling, and then how the offense was maybe doing a little bit more, a couple of points, looking at 4-game sample sizes. So the last 4 games, especially as we were looking back on that 4-game winning streak. And the defense did enough to win this game. The defense only gave up 9 points. And I say that because there was a pick 6 by Kyler Murray. I think it was Kobe Bryant from the Seahawks that intercepted and got the touchdown. And offense only put up 6 points. As we start to get into this, I want to start with the discrepancy that I want to get into is 37 versus 14. 37 pass attempts for Kyler Murray, 14 rush attempps for the Arizona Cardinals, and the game was not out of hand. But so when we're looking at that, what happened there? Because that just seemed to it's. I mean, you can look at the numbers, and especially today in the aftermath, listening to some of the local heads. Yeah, they weren't getting 4 or 5 yards of carry on the rush, but they gave up. They gave up. It seemed like they gave up way too early. What are your thoughts on just looking at that discrepancy first of all?
Exactly what we talked about last week in terms of if it doesn't work, you just can't right away. You can't just abandon it. And that's exactly what the Cardinals seem to do. And without any type of, I guess, backup plan, the run to – I thought in this game James Conner should have touched the ball 20 to 25 times. I even threw that number out there. Mm-hmm. And for him to have 7 touches – for 8 yards, one is not a large, it's not a large enough sample size, and then 2, is like I said, you never even explored the opportunity to run the ball. You just, like I said, it was, and then here's the thing: if you are going to, because there are games, Jay, we all know there are games when they take something away, and you have to have a counter punch. So right. I know there are games when it's more advantageous to throw the ball. So let's throw the ball. I mean, to be that lackluster, meaning just I mean, he threw it 37 times, and there wasn't anything exciting about the passing game. I didn't see any, anything to spark the offense. It seemed like they were just kind of sleepwalking out there. And I don't know whether that's a player thing or it's a coach thing. I've been there before. I've been on teams before when it seemed like we were just kind of, halfway there.
Yeah.
And whose responsibility is it to wake up? Players, we got to get our stuff together. Coaching staff, they got to get. I just thought this was too big a game, too much on the line for them to come out and seem like they played this way. And it was, like I said, right before we even started, I said it's really disappointing in terms of how they, like I said, it was just very lackluster. And like I said, if you're going to go out on your sword. And I'm thinking, what is the sword of this team? It's Connor. It's that running game. And they went up there and just did not perform. And as you mentioned, final score 16-6. We gave them 7 with that pick 6. This is a game we were never out of. And why, with that type of effort, like why we abandoned the run so quickly and just never, seemed like we got on top of like taking control of this game. It was, let me look at something else, like time of possession. Let's see. Time of possession here.
Let's see here.
Total plays. The 61-56 in terms of total plays. Time of possession. I'm looking at where is it?
Where is it? Right now. Let me get to that. Time of possession. Let me see. Had to be there.
26. We had it basically 26 minutes and 47 seconds. They held the ball for 33 minutes. They were, they didn't do anything special, meaning Seattle. They got a pick 6. They scored 9 other points. This is a game that we'll look back on, depending on how everything rolls out from here. Like I said, the schedule's going to get tougher, but depending on how everything rolls out from here, we might look back on this game as the one where either the slide started or it kept us from getting, into a much better situation right now. So just very, I would have expected more. I expected a whole lot more from them. Even if you lose this game, I expected more fire and almost like desire from this team.
One thing that I want to get into is it really looked to me like from a defensive standpoint that the Seahawks, and it was mentioned a couple times locally this morning as I was doing some exercise, that they seemed to be playing with a little bit of ferocity. There was intensity there. And going into, we knew that the Seahawks weren't necessarily the best defensive team in the world. And so just going into it thinking that they were going to come and fly around like that wasn't expected. I think that even looking at the game, both of us were thinking that the game was going to be 24, 22, in the 20s. And so just to really see how they were able to clamp down on the Cardinals and really be able to stop, I guess, the times when they did try to run, that was impressive. What were your thoughts when looking at the defense for the Seahawks?
You mean from our point of view, like their defense, or
the Seahawks defense?
They put it on us. They took something away, and it's one of those things where I would love to be in the film room and listen, and maybe go through the game. I would like to know what the actual game plan was to start, and then when they transition to, like, there's certain things we can't do and we're not going to do, or they just it seemed like they never got into a rhythm. And Seattle, obviously they were stout up front, but I don't know if it was more they took something away from us or we just never got to it, that type of thing, because it would have, like, precluded us from running the ball if we really wanted to do it. It was almost like that was like an afterthought, because, like I said, it's no how you 7 rushes for Connor when you think about what he does and how he does it.
Yeah,
that's you got to have a bare minimum number of times that he touches the ball just to punish somebody. You got to, his running sometimes, Jay, is you run him in the first and second quarter, so they don't want to see him in the third and fourth quarter. He sets the tone. And, there was no tone setting. There was no – and here's the thing. Sometimes inexperience can play a role in everything too. This is new territory for this coaching staff. Going on the road, first in the division, I guess every division game's a rivalry, but it was almost like, I don't know, they didn't bring enough. Like, you got to bring some type of fire to the table. And it almost seemed like they didn't realize how much was at stake this week and didn't approach it. Oh, it's just another game. No, you're playing for first place in the division. If you beat Seattle, you go up 2 games on them. And then you look at what's happening with San Fran, and then the Rams lose as well. Yeah, you look at what you could have accomplished, and it was almost like it was just the same old Cardinals. And I don't understand that. I don't understand how you come into this game without your hair on fire. Just what imagine how uplifting it would have been to come back here with a victory after the way everything happened in the division. We didn't know it was going to go down the way it did, but golly, we had a chance to really, stamp our mark on this one, and just to play that flat was just really disappointing.
Yeah, Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals. He's Ed Smith. I'm Javon Adams. We are presented by Bet Online. And now, 2 things I'm going to throw out there. One, the first one is that Jonah Williams was playing yesterday. He was back on the offensive line. He hadn't been playing for a few weeks. And so it took Beacham's place. Could something like that seems so minor, could that impact the offensive line in that way where they're not being able to open up holes and be able to get some yards on the ground and just protect the quarterback, because Kyler Murray was sacked 5 times yesterday, I think, for 36 yards. So because something so little, and I'm saying that in quotation marks, have that profound of an impact or effect?
It's not little, it's a big thing. But here's the thing, Jay. To run the ball, you have to run the ball. That's like one of those Yogi Berra, in order to run the ball, you have to run the ball, and meaning you got to at least try.
Yeah,
we didn't even try, and in order to fail, you have to at least try, right? We didn't even put that kind of effort together to see. I mean, I know you got pieces. Every team in the NFL is going through, offensive line this, or you got somebody down here. Right? Everybody's got to step up. You got a new piece in there, he's got to do the job. There's a reason why he's getting a paycheck. So we have to have, some type of, if we got to give him some help, let's give him some help, okay? But we still, maybe a little more double team at the appointed tackle with him or what. But somehow, some way, we have to at least put the effort forth, run the ball, make them stop us. It was all, like I said, we gave up way too early and too soon to, like I said, in a game that was never out of hand. Final score will tell you that, 16-6. We just never put to not score a touchdown in today's game is kind of tough. I mean, we've seen Pittsburgh do it with winning 6 field goals and stuff like that, but those are aberrations. This is the Cardinals with these weapons. Marvin Harrison once again. Let me see how Marvin did. Oh boy.
I'll pull up Marvin. Harrison was targeted. He was targeted he had 3 receptions for 47 yards. He was targeted 6 times. Trey McBride was targeted 15 times. And had 12 receptions for 133 yards. Michael Wilson targeted 4 times, 2 receptions, 54 yards.
I'm still with Marvin. I'd rather. I love the attention that Trey is getting, but I'm still. I need more from Marvin on the outside. I mean, Trey should be opening up with the amount of targets Trey's getting. There should be special attention going to Trey, which should open Marvin up a little more. I'm not sure how they're designing some of these plays, what the progression is. And maybe Kyler's just getting it the first progression, which is Trey. But I would start, like I said, somehow, some way, we got to get Marvin more involved and early and frequently. And it just doesn't – it's just not gelling right now. Like I said, I do like – there's got to be a yin and a yang. I do like to see what's happening with Trey. But I got to start getting my young wide receiver more involved, and maybe that opens everything up. But like I said, it was just for me. It was a total failure in terms of just game plan and execution, and making the proper adjustments. We talked about that last week as well. No adjustments were made to incorporate the run game and maybe make them respect that a little more, which might open other things up. But just lackluster performance, and it gets tough. I mean, this was one of those ones that I thought, it's on the road. Seattle, sometimes Jekyll and Hyde as far as how they play, but they said this was set up for us to win this game. It actually was.
I agree. So you mentioned in terms of Marvin Harrison Jr., so then somebody has to get him the ball. That person that would be the one to get him the ball would be one Kyler Murray. So yes, Trey McBride, 133 yards receiving, but there was some of the bad Kyler showed up. So with kind of some chuck and duck, some different things there. I mean, I don't want to pile on the man, but because we've seen some bright spots over this over the previous 4-game winning streak, we saw some good things. We talked about last week, and you mentioned that you can't really. If the game plan calls, sometimes maybe the quarterback's going to have to throw it a little bit more, etc. But one of the things that is just concerning is that when he regresses to the mean a little bit with some of the chuck and duck type of plays. I mean, that's it, you just wonder how that's going to impact him this next game against Minnesota. But those were things that, of course, those are the low hanging fruit that kind of comes to mind with Kyler from this game.
Well, I'm not sure if you realize this, Jay. I said it a couple times a few weeks ago. We have a short quarterback, and from time to this is the thing I'm questioning right now.
Okay,
and I will bring this up. He ran the ball 2 times for 9 yards, right?
Right.
Kyler Murray should never have 2 rushing attempts for single digits because, one, I had to incorporate his legs into the game plan. The other thing, that means he's spending a lot of time in the pocket. And we know how hard it is to look through trees if you're standing in the middle of the forest, right? Mm-hmm. That's like being in a North Carolina forest trying to see the sunshine. It's not going to happen because a whole lot of foliage going on up there, and he's short. So while he's standing there trying to look through the trees, and if you notice, Seattle did a good job keeping him in the pocket. And when he's in the pocket trying to find something, through the forest, that's when they get after him. When they show discipline up the field, but you push it into his lap as well, and he's got nowhere to go. He does the spin out, boop, he's going down. We've seen that. And then, like you said, the chuck and duck. A lot of times he's just thrown to an area because he cannot see clearly what's going on out there. Yeah. How do you combat that, Jay? How do you combat that?
Movement?
Yes. How many times have we said, move the pocket, get him on the run? Because once he's on the run, if there's nothing out there on his side of the field, what can he then do? He can turn up and get you 5, 7, break one for 20, 30, or one of them long ones for a touchdown, something like that.
Yeah.
And I know you don't want your quarterback out there in harm's way, but they are football players. They know how to slide. He does a good job of sliding. I like what they do in Baltimore with Lamar. I mean, they design runs for Lamar. So he gets out. I mean, you got the weapon of King Henry over there too, but so you got dual threats to why not use Kyler a little more in the running game? My suspicion is that because every week the offensive coordinator will sit down beginning of the week, here's what we got, what do you like, what do you don't like? And I like this, I don't like this, then they go out and work on the stuff that they like and don't like. And then sometimes it's like, actually I do like that, and I'm not too fond of this. So through the week, you work things out.
Yeah.
And part of the game plan should always be, Kyler, we have at least 3 or 4 runs that in a pinch or just when they're not thinking about it, because we're going to sneak out the backside, we're going to do this. For some reason, it's almost like they've made it a point and maybe because Kyler wants it this way, what do you like, what do you don't like, that he is a pocket quarterback. And you can't be 5 and some change. I'm not even going to throw the other number out there because we all know it's a lie. They try to tell me that man is close to 6 foot or 5'10" or whatever.
Right.
No, he ain't. With the hair, he is, but without the hair, he's not.
Right.
So if you're going to stand back there in the pocket and try to look through all this bigness and brawniness and stuff like that, and just at the end of the game, you have 2 rushes for 9 yards. That leads me to believe somebody either not doing their job, meaning calling up some runs and stuff, or somebody doesn't want that portion of his job on his resume anymore. He's done with the running because there's no excuse for that to not have, just in scrambles, Jay, to get out of some of these sacks. He should, 3 or 4 or 5 times a game. We're not seeing that anymore. And I'm not sure why that's not incorporated as part of his game. Bring him into the fold and get him out there. You got to move him, and you also have to run him. Yeah. And for some reason, they're not doing either, and that confuses the heck out of me. He's such an easy target when he's back there in the pocket because, like I said, you push into his lap, and you get the guys that maintain the outside levers to contain him, and he turns into a much less effective quarterback, and that's kind of what we're seeing. And then the other portion of that, a lot of his passes are left and right to the sidelines because he can see out there, but he can't see across the middle of the field. And if you roll him out, if you move him, you relieve so much pressure from and stress from and allow him to be freer. And for whatever reason, we see it. I see it. You see it. I'm sure a whole lot of other people see it. I'm sure teams prepare for it, but we don't throw it at them at all.
So leave me with this. One of the things, if we're the good and the bad from this game, defense, defense, they have definitely some positive things to hang their hat on. The offense, I wonder if this is just as much as you mentioned that there should have been some fire coming from the players. So yes, the players are the ones that are getting paid to go out there and give maximum effort. Not saying they didn't give maximum effort, but there was something that wasn't curling quite right, as we always say. But what about do the coaches have to wear some of this too? And because of giving up on what we imagined was the game plan, that they were going to try to run the ball, then getting away from it, or not making the adjustment to say, let's go back to the running game, we hadn't planned on moving the pocket, but we know we got those plays in there, so let's move that pocket a little bit for them, or do some different things protection wise. Do the coaches have to wear a good percentage of this as well? Absolutely.
I would say almost, if it's not 50-50, is right down the middle. I'm somewhere in that area because obviously the players have to go out and execute. But for me, it was just I'm not understanding why we can see it and they can't. What some of the attributes, what they have in hand and how they should be utilizing and using it, meaning Connor running the ball, meaning Kyler running the ball, meaning get him out of the pocket so he can either run or throw with more clarity. I'm not sure we see that. I'm not sure why they don't. And that's where I question the coaching staff of how, and I know this is the first time through for some of them, but we're in year 2 and 3, and, there should be more to this, meaning more it should be getting easier for them to know what they have and how to use it and to motivate these guys. And I just didn't see a good game plan from start to finish. Getting off the plane, it seemed like they were probably flat. And here's the other thing. If you don't believe in the game plan, it's sometimes tough. I'm not going to name the place I was at, but it was in the NFL. And I remember getting our, as a tight end, I remember getting our game plan each week, and it was, and I'll tell you offline, it was bad. I mean, it was like, oh my God. It was like we were doing the same thing all the time. There was no rhyme or reason to why we were doing stuff sometime. It was generic. You looked at it like the other team's going to see this coming a mile away. If this is all we're doing, and we played like it showed in the execution. If the players aren't believing in it, now imagine this: you're in Kansas City, you're in Detroit. Every week you come in and you can't wait to see what the new or the crazy thing that we're going to do, or halfback pass to the linemen and stuff for that. You get excited about that stuff, and there's always going to be a trick in the bag, and you're ready for it. You just waiting. Here's our special play this week. Oh yeah, and like I said, match that up. You come in and you're looking like, damn, okay. This is the same thing we did last week. Didn't work last week either. All right. All right, let's see how this goes.
I think one of the things that I'm left with from today's show is to run the ball. You have to run the ball.
Run the ball. There you go.
All right. So on behalf of the one and only Ed Easy Smith, I am Javon J. Love Adams. This is Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals. Make sure you tell a friend about what we have going on here. As always, we are presented by Bet Online, and we'll hit you something with we'll get you something here Friday because of Thanksgiving. And so I know that I speak for Ed when I say this, but happy Thanksgiving, and spend time with your loved ones, whether it's just friends who are the ones that you can choose to be your family, or those family, and when they come through with empty containers and they arm swinging. Yeah, what's up?
There you go. Real quick, tell everybody how we gonna celebrate. How you celebrating it, man? You're doing it at your mother-in-law's house, right?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
So what's your duty? Like, what are you cooking anything? You doing? Anything?
I'm not cooking. For people that much, for in terms of that size, that many people, nah. I'm
so all you gotta do is
there were times where if there were ribs maybe to be had, I maybe make some ribs or something like that. But I'll let the chefs, the men and the women, do their thing, and I'll just be there to try to kick back.
What does your first plate look like?
Well, I'm trying to slim down a little bit, try to drop a few pounds, so it's not going to look too bad. But I'm gonna have some of the macaroni and cheese, have some of the greens on there. I'll probably have more turkey as opposed to not a whole lot of ham. We'll have some of the stuffing, and then a roll. I might get a little bit of cranberry sauce, but then I'm gonna just kind of be kicking back and maybe put just a little bit, because of the sodium, a little bit of some hot sauce on some of the food there. But I gotta have a big heaping of macaroni and cheese that my wife makes.
Okay, so we're going over to Mom's house. I'm actually doing the turkey on the Traeger, so I'll be thawing it out over the next couple of days, brining it for 24 hours.
Yeah,
a special solution that I have. And then I'll get it on the Traeger, take it over to Mom's. My first plate is just a little turkey, because I'm not a huge turkey guy.
Yeah.
A little turkey, whole lot of ham.
Okay.
So Mom's doing the stuffing.
Yeah.
Got the mashed potatoes, and Mom's doing the macaroni and cheese. So you got some of that on there.
Yeah.
And I'm not a cranberry sauce guy, so whatever green vegetable we have, whether it be string beans or something like that, which are always
stand no
there.
string beans. Can't stand no
Gotta
string beans, man.
Gotta have string beans.
No,
little
sir.
ham, and mom puts ham in the string beans too. And I pile it up high, but the problem is, bro, my eyes are always a little bigger than my stomach.
Right.
I don't eat that much.
Yeah.
So I'll nibble on that, and then my goal will be to finish that plate at some point, or pack it up so I can go home, and then you gotta have some type of dessert. Pumpkin pie, pecan pie, whatever it is. You gotta have a piece of dessert for Thanksgiving. But my two favorite aunts, they're coming in town together. They'll be getting in a Wednesday, actually. So it'll be nice. One of them has met Quentin. The other has never met him in person. So he's going to get a chance to see a couple of his great aunts. We'll have other people over, my brother, his next door neighbor and stuff like that. So it'll be a nice family affair. But really looking forward to it. As you mentioned, to all of our listeners, we wish everyone blessings and a happy Thanksgiving, and hope you get to enjoy your family as much as we get to enjoy ours. And while I'm saying what I'm thankful for, bro, I'm so thankful for you having you as a brother.
I appreciate that, man. The feeling is mutual, for sure.
We're getting ready to go into the holidays. I got to start thinking what kind of craft I'm gonna get you for the holiday.
Just the thought makes me smile. You know that. So on behalf of Ed Smith, I'm Javon Adams, presented by Bet Online. This is Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time. You can.